And a pleasant good morning to each and every one of you. It is still morning time, and welcome into the Power Lunch. I'm your host, Kenneth Forte. So glad to have you with us on this beautiful, hot, I don't even remember what day it is, but it's a beautiful day outside, and it's Tuesday.
It's already July.
It is all, yes, we are in July. We are a few days away from celebrating the 4th of July. So hope that you plan to be safe, whether you're on the water, whether you're on land or sea. Make sure that you are safe. And if you're firing out some firecrackers, make sure you are protecting yourself and those who need protecting, those who are younger than us. We encourage you to enjoy family, food, fun, and a few friends. So that's what's going on. Also, we want to remind you, coming up July the 15th, no, July 20th, I'm sorry, is our back to school bash. And you'll be hearing more about that. So we're excited. This is our 5th annual back to school bash. And we are excited, and we want to say thank you to our sponsors, Zochem, Greater Dixon Gas Authority, and there are some other folks, and I'll have to look at that long list. But if you are interested in being a sponsor, please feel free to reach out to us here at the radio station. At the number is 615-446-0752. And let Miss Deborah know that you're interested in supporting our local students here in Dixon County. It is a fun event. We've got vendors who will be there. Our school system will be represented there as well. And we'll have SROs. We have friends from News Channel 2 will be here as well.
Wow.
So we're excited about that. And we'll be actually appearing on their midday show here in a couple of weeks. So we're excited not about the midday show, but about the back to school bash. And this is something that is near and dear to us as we try to support our students. And of course, we want to say thanks to Dr. Christy Sutherland and all of those who will be representing our schools, because the information is so important for our parents as well as our students. Our SROs we know will be there as well, and a whole host of other nonprofit organizations to share information. Our friends from Sunrisa will be there, share information with you as our listening audience and those who will have children going back to school on August 1st, which will be here before you know it. So we encourage you to put it on your calendar, July 20th. It'll be at the Dixon County Fairgrounds, as it has always been. And big shout out to Steve Manley and the board for allowing us to always have the event there. Hey, they do it, and for the community, and we appreciate them and their support of this event as well. We're excited to be in the studio with Ms. Renee Badon from CASA, and they have a lot of things going on as well. And so she's going to share some of those things that they have going on, and also tell you how you can support CASA and any information that you may have. Because Renee, sometimes we just assume everybody understands what CASA does and what CASA is, but this is an opportunity to share with folks. First of all, let's kick it off by saying, hey, this is what CASA is and what CASA does.
Absolutely. CASA stands for Court-Appointed Special Advocates. So our mission is to recruit and train as many volunteers as possible in the counties that we serve so that every child in foster care has a CASA advocate. And a CASA advocate holds that child's hand as they go through the journey of foster care, is that stable person, because let me tell you, people coming in and out, in and out, in and out, and they're just little, and they're confused, and they don't know what's going on. They just want to be with mom and daddy.
And not just little ones.
Not just little ones. We have teenagers too, and they're just
confused.
They are confused. Foster parents are confused, but I cannot begin to tell you how many cases where the CASA advocate, who's been on the case from the beginning, was the only person who stayed consistent.
Yep.
On that case, because the DCS workers change. The attorneys for DCS change. Their attorneys, called GALs, change. Their foster placements change sometimes for various reasons, sometimes due to no fault of the child at all.
Yeah.
So, and of course in Dixon we've had the judge change even. So the CASA advocate then becomes that true north regarding truly what that child's been through
Yeah.
during I mean, of course, we have all the reports and everything from everyone else, but as far as knowing that child from the beginning, it becomes the CASA advocate.
And which is so a key in
Absolutely.
this process that a child is going through. And you know, you don't really know the complete process unless you're close to it.
Yes, yes, it's not as cut and dry as you would think it is.
Yeah.
The parents have 18 months to get their lives back on the rails because they have fallen off the rails. That's why the children are in custody, and rarely is it a snap decision to remove children. If they come in, look around, and remove children, those conditions are
Bad.
horrible.
Yeah.
Their children are in danger. Because of the Families First Act, DCS first works with the family in their home to correct all the issues. And if those issues still do not get corrected, that's when the children get removed. So it's not like they just showed up one day. That's not how it works.
No.
So it's so they have 18 months, and for those that are struggling with addiction, that's buffering in there a relapse at some point because it happens almost 100% of the time. It's rare that it doesn't happen.
Which is really sad on the part of the child because the child finds them in a situation due to no fault of their own.
No fault of their own, especially you're talking about newborns that are
Yeah.
born addicted
Yes.
or are born, with those substances in their bodies, and they have to go through detox. And then you think 18 months, 2 years, all they've known is their foster family. Mm-hmm. So that it's really important. That's one of the things Safe Baby Court does, and we work with Safe Baby Court cases to make sure those parents are as active in those newborn lives, even if they're still struggling with addiction, that
Yeah.
they can make that connection. And the whole purpose of the foster care system and court, juvenile court, is reunification. That's what we all want for these children and for the families, because it's sad, but no matter how bad mom and dad may have been,
Those children still want to be with
that's
their
their
parents.
connection.
Yeah.
That's their DNA. And we've had older children. The only reason why they didn't want to be adopted is it would mean their name would change,
Yeah.
because that's the only thing they still have from
Yeah.
their prior life. And we do a lot of talking about that.
Yeah.
You don't have to change your name, or you can move that to your middle name,
Yeah.
because that's everything. Speaking from a woman who
Yeah.
at 25 changed her name for all happy reasons, it was still
It
far
was
more
still
traumatic. And there was no aces involved. I mean, it sounds funny, but it's true.
Yeah. I mean, it's major.
Because it's who I was. It's
Yeah.
who I've been my
That's-
whole life up until that point. So
that was your identity, a
that
part
was-
of your identity.
Yeah. So that's why my dad still calls me by my maiden name. But yeah, it's sometimes it's the little stuff like that we recognize as the holdup.
Yep.
Yeah, for those situations. So.
With us today on the Power Lunch is Ms. Renee Badon, who is the Executive Director, CASA here in not only Dixon, but also in
Hickman and
Stewart
Stewart.
counties. And who knows, they keep spreading.
We would be happy to spread to other counties, yes.
And they do just a phenomenal job. But we're going to take our first break of the show and come back. And we're going to talk about Champions for Children. And Renee's going to tell us all about that right here on the Power Lunch on 101.5 The Ride. We are back here inside the studios here at 108 West College Street in downtown Dixon. I'm Kenneth Forte. With us today is Miss Renee Badon. We are wanting to let you know as well, early voting is getting ready to start here in a couple of weeks. And as we oftentimes say, your vote is your voice. So make sure that you are registered. Make sure that you know where to go vote early. And we've interviewed a number of the candidates here on this show, and I think we have a a couple of more before early voting starts, because once early voting starts, then we no longer interview the candidates. We've offered every candidate on the ballot the opportunity to come on the Power Lunch so that you have an opportunity to hear them. And I'm sure as we move along with this election season, because the primaries are in August and then the general election will be in November, we encourage you to make sure that you are registered to vote. We encourage you to get out and vote. It matters. Every voting cycle matters. If you do not vote, you do not have a voice to complain.
That's true.
So, and that is the key, is knowing, number one, your polling place, knowing the issues, and vote your conscience.
That's right.
Champions for Children.
Yes.
Tell us about it. I know you're excited. Every time I say it, you light up.
Well, July 18th is our 9th year of putting on the Champions for Children. Mm-hmm. And that's where CASA celebrates people in the community who have championed children's causes.
Yep.
And everybody from Mary Littleton to Neil Trice. I'm not going to say Trice. Right?
Trice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To Miss Emma Hall was the first one to get. We have an award named after her because she's been one of those behind the scenes people, just helping others, without anybody knowing. Miss Luann Greer's won that. Miss Donna Holtz won that. But this year it's Miss Dana Ramsey is winning the Emma Hall Community Service Award. And anybody who knows Dana knows she's a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, on a whole nother level.
On a whole nother level. I started a really bad joke many, many years ago. I was awarded the Education Edge Volunteer of the Year. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, and this is at the chamber. And I was like, thank you very much. I said, I don't know how I got this. I also don't know how I got in charge of the it was an event they used to hold where they brought people in that have different careers Day for the middle schoolers. So they just talk about their journey with school, continuing education.
Yes.
Realtors get continuing education, bankers, everybody gets continuing education, and what they would like to do if they did something different. I said, I'm not sure how I ended up being in charge of this. I said, I think I made eye contact with Dana, so I know going forward, don't make eye contact.
Don't make eye contact
so
with
from
Dana.
that point forward, everybody's like, don't look at Dana. Don't look at Dana. She's looking for a volunteer. Don't look for Dana. But so that went for about 10 years.
She's the
that
queen
joke.
of volunteers.
She is the queen. But you know what? She's like, you can do this. And that's all it took was her looking at me going, I believe in you. I was like, Dana says I can do it. I can do it. But, you think about the Community Foundation, leadership, Education Edge. Dixon's the only community that's still running their Education Edge, which was an initiative started, 25 years ago?
Wow.
Yeah, to get world, and education to talk to each other.
Yes.
Ours still talk to each other.
That's pretty awesome.
They say this is what we need people to be able to do, so they're hireable. Mm-hmm. And then they work with education, and now CTE's huge, so they can train the students to actually work some of these and be able to do some of the things that we need people to do in the community. Yeah,
well, as industries grow in the community and businesses open up, you got to have the workers to be able to do the job and be trainable and teachable.
And let me tell you, these kids are coming out with certifications of all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing. But, it's because she's continued to run Education Edge as a volunteer. Thank you very much. But the Community Foundation, I've had numerous people tell me without her and her husband, it probably would have never gotten off the ground. And they've given $1 million plus money back, and the majority of it has gone to schools, or for people who work with children that are in the school system. So she has definitely followed her heart and has done so much for this community. And I was tickled when the board voted for her.
Yes.
And when she accepted it, and Dana, I'm going to call you out because about a week later, she texted me and she said, this should go to somebody else, not me. And I'm like, no, it's going to you, and you cannot back out on me. No, do this for me. Please, Dana, do this for me. Please accept this award. Because she's not one to want any attention at all. So very tickled for her. And there's quite a few people who've said, I'm coming to that award because it's Dana.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And the only person in CASA world that could probably trump Dana is the person getting the Champion for Children award, which is Megan Frazier, who is the person who first said, we need CASA in Dixon County.
Megan Frazier is another force.
A huge force to be reckoned with. People do not know.
She flies below the radar. But
Dixon,
my
she
friend
does.
Megan Frazier is... She's
a big dog in Nashville, yes.
Yes, she is. She's a powerhouse. That's why I'm glad we laugh together.
That's right. That's right. People do not realize just how influential she is in the world in Nashville. And she and I have talked about that and joked about it. And it's like people really, they just know you as a mom in Dixon, but they don't realize all that you do in Nashville. She has a government relations PR firm, or she's not PR. It is advocacy.
No, she is a lobbyist.
Professional lobbyist.
Firm. Yeah.
And what Megan says, people do because she's just that well thought of and that respected in Nashville with the legislators. She has supported. I know every leadership day, both adult and youth, she comes out and brings some staff with her to talk about what lobbyists do and how they help legislators who know nothing about a subject matter that they're about to vote on. And people don't really think about that. They
don't realize that legislators vote not knowing what they're voting on.
I think that they knew, but it never occurred to them that they might have to vote on a bill involving a subject matter that they were like, what? I got to make a decision on this? And that is one of the jobs of lobbyists to say, well, this is why my people want this bill to pass. This is what it'll do. And then, of course, they have the lobbyists for the other side going, this is why we don't want this to pass. But so they do play a role. Love them or hate them, they play a role, and they are intricate to how our government works.
Is it love them or hate them?
Love them or hate them. So I'm not going to answer any post on Facebook. But see here, in 2015, she went to Judge Mize and said, we need a CASA program in Dixon.
Yeah.
And he said, tell me what it is. And because he was new to being a judge. And to say that he's fallen in love with the program is an understatement.
And then the judge after him, Judge
Creasy loves CASA.
Does the same thing.
Loves CASA.
And I think it speaks to the heart of both of those gentlemen that they both understood it and got it. Of course, they're both attorneys.
Yes.
And so they got it, and they have been children advocates as attorneys.
Yes. And Judge Mize is now. He's a guardian ad litem, so he's an attorney for children in Hickman County and some other counties. Can't quite come back to Dixon just yet, but and he said, being on this side, wow, I see the frustrations now. Yeah. And it's hard.
All right, need to take another quick break. We'll do it and be right back. You're tuned into the Power Lunch here on 101.5 The Ride. Back in a moment. All right, we're back here on the Power Lunch. Kenneth Forte, along with Miss Renee, my mom.
I was waiting for you to mess it up.
Renee Badon. We're talking CASA. Hey, now you guys have an event coming up. The true story of, what is it, Possum
Trot.
Trot? Yeah.
Yes. It was made by Angel Studios, and it's a true story of this little town called Possum Trot, Texas, where a reverend and his wife just got on fire for the children in foster care.
Okay.
And convinced Well, she had to first convince him, but and they
Isn't that how it always works?
that's always how it works. Yeah, and they took in a child, and then they convinced everyone in their church to become a foster parent with the hopes of adoption.
Okay.
And it's not just the warm fuzzy. It tells, it gives you enough backstory on the lives of these children to know that they've been through it.
Yeah.
They've been through it.
Yeah.
And even after adoption, that it's not always easy.
No, it's not.
It's not always easy.
Yeah.
They're, you know, the trauma they face circles back around. Mm-hmm. Birthdays, holidays.
Yeah.
I've always said, and actually research shows, the body remembers what the brain forgets.
Yeah.
So things get triggered.
Yeah.
And
you can't change someone's DNA.
you cannot change the DNA. So it talks about how it gets hard. It gets real hard. But then by the end of the movie, and I don't want to give anything away, but it's very well known. He said, I've been talking to some more people. They need that foster care training. Can you come in town and do it? And the social worker smiles and says, there's not a single child within 100 miles of Possum Trot that needs a home. And that was true. She said, your community's adopted or fostering all of them.
Wow.
Wow. And the Reverend...
Within 100 miles.
Within 100 miles of that little sleepy town in Texas. Myself and Jen Snook saw it at the premiere in June. Mm-hmm. And...
cried. I know you.
Oh gosh, did I cry? Oh, buddy, I cried. And when we left, there probably weren't 10 people in the audience, and Jen and I, because it was just the premiere on a random Tuesday or whatever it was, or Thursday, and when we walked out, 2 of our CASA advocates walked out. We didn't know they were in there, and they were just like, everybody needs to see this movie. So what we're doing on the 4th of July, it actually begins on July 3rd, but on the 4th of July, I'm going to be sitting out at the theater all day on my 4th of July, and I'm doing it for a couple of reasons. One, I believe that this movie is going to be that impactful. We actually had 5 people sign, I want more information on CASA after that movie.
Now that's going to be out at the Roxy.
It's going to be at the Roxy.
Okay.
And my husband's
Shout out to Belinda.
Yes,
Daniels.
yes.
Yep.
Yes, and she's on our board, and
Yep.
she was like, yes, y'all come out here. So I'll have a table, an information table, because at the end of the movie, the Reverend and his wife are still alive, and they give you a follow-up on all the children they had in their lives and the children featured in the movie.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And the Reverend's wife says the most impactful thing. You know, they talk about 100,000 children needing homes in foster care, right?
Yeah.
And that's true for Dixon has children. I mean, they get sent to Memphis and Jackson.
Yes.
And crazy. I mean, we have one who has to, the type of therapy he needs is in Texas. They had to fly him to Texas to get the special therapy he needed because we don't have it here.
Yeah.
So she says something that I put on our Facebook page. If you can adopt, adopt. Mm-hmm. If you can't adopt, foster.
Foster.
If you can't foster, she says there are many other avenues to help. And I put become a court-appointed special advocate.
Yes.
So if you don't think you can take on fostering or adoption, you can still fill your heart with helping a child in foster care. They are our most fragile children in our community.
Yeah.
They are orphans because they're not, the state is raising them. By definition, that's an orphan.
Yes.
State does not need to be raising children.
No.
I know my grandparents grew up at TPS back when it was an orphanage.
Yeah.
And they stayed there their whole life
Wow.
because the children at TPS weren't available for adoption. They would go home in the summers and stay with their families, but they knew if they had been raised there, they probably would have died of starvation. Yeah, it was bad. But they stayed on after they got married and were house parents.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. So
yeah.
they met at the
They met at TPS, yes.
Oh, wow.
And my grandfather, all of his siblings were there as well. He was the youngest of 12. The oldest ones were on their own, but my grandmother was the only one.
Yeah.
Her father had passed away before she was born, so Mama didn't have a choice but to give her up.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's lasting, like you said, DNA's DNA, and
Yeah.
so there's lasting impacts.
And here's the thing, Renee. We don't necessarily have to know why a child is in foster care, or we
Right.
just need to know that there's a child that needs a loving home.
Yes,
Even if it's just a transitional home.
stability. It's
They just need
stability.
that experience of experiencing, someone that's a protector in a sense.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, if you can imagine, and I can't, going to sleep and not knowing who may come into your room, not knowing if there's going to be food, when there's going to be food, having to caretake for your younger siblings, and you're all of 5, 6 years old. It's a life of uncertainty, and we've had so many instances when the children have come into care, and they have a foster parent, and our CASAs call us and said, "Can you believe it? We eat 3 meals a day,
Yeah.
and we get snacks when we're hungry."
Yep.
And the foster parents will say that they said to them, the kids said to them, "Can y'all afford to feed us like this? Are we going to do this every day, or is this just for today?"
Yeah.
And it's a world that it's hard to wrap your brain around, but it's a world that no child should live in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Go see Possum Trot. If your heart's
Please
not
do.
ripped open, which,
To make you want to to have an impact on a child who needs the love of a parent.
absolutely.
And someone and the safety of a parent, of a home where they have a chance to heal themselves.
Yes, yes.
Then you just
It's a higher calling, absolutely.
yeah.
It's going to bring out your own issues 110%. But everyone heals and everyone gets better. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's what needs to happen.
Well, and it'll show you that you have the ability to love a child through some of the pain that you've experienced, so that they don't experience the same type of pain.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I think that is so key and important for today's generations. And we we have more children in foster care now than ever in this country.
Over 400,000, but over 100,000 need homes.
Yeah.
So in Dixon, I'm going to mess this number up. I know I am, but not this number. We average 100 to about 102 children in foster care in Dixon County. We only have 18 traditional homes. I think it's 18. It could be less than that, which means a home's open. You need a child to have a home in Dixon, bring them to me. I've been trained,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Those fill up pretty fast
Yeah.
with 102 children in foster care. So then they try to look for a family member to take them, because at least there's that kinship. That's not always the healthiest option. Can I just
No.
point that out?
Yeah.
That is
That's true.
not always the healthiest option. And sometimes that becomes very disruptive. And then you feel like the child feels like they've been, neglected twice. Not neglected, but been rejected twice.
Yeah.
But so that means our kids go to an open foster home, which we're considered West Tennessee in what universe? Our current one, but not, yes.
We're closer to middle than we are west.
Thank you. Because the state redrew what is considered West, Middle, and East
they can't
Tennessee.
draw.
It's based on population.
Yeah, but they can't draw.
No, they can't draw.
I mean, that's
So-
just
That means our children go an hour, 2 hours away to foster
Yeah.
homes. And that's why one of the things we do is raise money so our advocates can be reimbursed their travel expenses to go see that child once a month or children once a month.
Yeah.
And not all siblings get put together, especially if they're teenage siblings. Mm-hmm. You know, we have more than one situation. We currently have a situation with 5 children, and
Wow.
nobody's in the same home.
Wow. 5, and so in each one of them are
In a different
probably
home.
separated.
They're
in a
all
different home.
separated. Yeah.
And it's just being together can help the healing process for those children.
Absolutely.
But when you're separated from from your sibling,
It's like,
regardless
what did
of
we
it-
do wrong
yeah,
that we can't be together?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yes.
Ooh, I gotta take a break.
Okay, let's take a break.
I gotta take a break, folks. We just want to encourage you. Renee, what's your website? People can get
Yes,
information.
www.casahighlandrim.org. And we're going to be out at the Roxy on the 4th and the next 2 Tuesdays for $5 movies.
Movie night. So
Mm-hmm.
it's an opportunity for you to see how one town impacted children, not just in that town, but around that town, within
Mm-hmm.
100 miles of that town, and so that you can see that you too can be impactful in a positive way in the life of a child.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we all should desire to do, because they are all of God's children, and they just want to be loved.
That's right.
And so you can provide that healthy, loving environment for them. And we encourage you to reach out to CASA. I know sometimes you think, well, I can't do that, but CASA needs advocates here in Dixon County.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to encourage each and every one of you to consider that. Contact Renee or her team and find out how you can be an advocate, because it may be a lot easier than you think it is. And so Renee can
Absolutely.
her team can prepare you, walk you through it, train you, and walk with you as you and a child make the journey of healing that child. So we
Absolutely.
encourage you to do that. And we'll give you more information after the break. You're tuned into the Power Lunch here on 101.5 The Ride. We are Dixon's #1 home for classic hits. We are back inside of the studios here at 108 West College Street in downtown Dixon, folks. Kenneth Forte along with Miss Renee Badon, the executive director of CASA here in Dixon, Hickman, and Stewart. I don't know why I want to say Waverly, but Stewart.
No. We'd love to be in Humphreys County. We
Yes.
would love to be in Humphreys, Houston, and Cheatham.
And there's a need.
There's absolutely a need.
Yes. So
Yeah.
we got to figure out how to get that done.
I know how to get it done.
I know.
Ask the judge, the juvenile judge. But the juvenile judge has to agree that they want CASA,
Mm-hmm.
and that they'll kind of help us get started. But after
Yeah.
that, we're an independent organization that
Yeah.
works for the court. So
Yeah. And you've been
everybody just
fortunate
thinks-
with the advocates that have come aboard
absolutely,
and support
absolutely.
CASA.
Absolutely. They are just amazing people. Just so
Yeah.
amazing.
Well,
But you know what? They'll tell you they're just regular people.
Yeah.
You know?
And they are, but they're regular people doing exceptional things.
Yes, they are.
And that's one of the keys. We are one of the big events is that you have is the you're looking for a sponsorship for the Champions Dinner?
Yes, it's not too late to be a sponsor for Champions for Children. The first sponsorship is $250, and that's it also gets you 2 seats if you want to use them, or you can just donate. We're fine with that.
Okay. When is
It's
that?
July 18th.
Okay.
And we are about to sell out on space where we're at. So I definitely need people to let me know if they're coming or if they
Yes.
want to sponsor and get some seats, because it holds 120 and we're at 99 people right now. And given the ones I know I'm expecting, we're getting there. We're
Yeah.
getting there real close. So please consider sponsoring. We have sponsorships at $250, $500, and $1,000. 1,000 gets you a table of 8. So we're going to have Judge Creasy is going to be speaking, and we're going to have another speaker. Her name is Jessica Francisco. She's a child. She was a child of the system, and she had a CASA. And she said until she tells her story of being in and out of foster care,
Yeah.
never a dry eye in the house. And then finally she got a CASA, and the CASA was the first person who said, "What do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want the judge to know? Tell me what you want and what you need." And no one had ever asked that before. And she's an amazing person. She's so sweet and so kind. She now works in paroles
Wow.
in the state of Tennessee.
So the impact that CASA and a CASA advocate had on her really kind of spurred her to do what she's doing today.
Yes,
Yeah.
to want to help others from the side of what her parents went through,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
She's only told her story 2 other times, one in Stewart County and one in Hickman. So this will be the 3rd time she's ever told her story. And that is huge,
Yeah.
huge. She
Well, that is,
barely made it through the first time because she had never actually said it out loud.
Yeah.
And then the second time she was stronger, still not a dry eye in the house. So when people see an adult who lived a life that was
Yeah.
horrific, but through the love and support of being fostered, being adopted, or just fostered till she aged out, and their foster mom's practically her mom now, and then that CASA supporting her and fighting for her, fighting with her, shall I say, and giving her a voice that she didn't have before, and that she is a whole and complete person who's able to give back.
Wow.
Is just, yeah, man, it's more impactful than anything I could say could ever be.
Wow. And truthfully, Renee, we don't know the stories of a lot of people who may have been in foster care and survived foster care, and thrived in foster care rather,
Yes,
versus
yes.
just survival.
Right.
But and those who had advocates in their corner in the past, what a difference that makes.
Oh, absolutely. A huge difference. Because they know your story. The advocates know your story. Your foster parents, and for those who've never fostered, you don't realize you're not told the whole story. You're not privy to the whole story of the children. You just know they came in because of dependent neglect or drug exposure or potential abuse, sex abuse, or physical abuse, because nothing has been adjudicated yet. No one has been charged officially. And that's all you know. That's all you get to know.
Yeah.
And where your CASA advocate knows
The whole story.
The whole story. They read all the reports from the doctors, from the therapists, from everybody, from the other attorneys, from DCS. They get the whole story.
Yeah.
So they know you. They know you.
And one of the things that's important for people to know, CASA in the work that you do works with those at DCS because
Absolutely.
it is there's a lot of overlap that comes with what both of you guys do.
Exactly. In a sense, well, the judge appoints CASA, the organization, and then we pick the best fit individual to serve that child or children in a case. One case.
One case.
Advocate, one case. That's one child. That could be, we have a couple of advocates that have special training. Like one has the social work. We actually have 2 that have degrees in social work. And one, he and his wife, he's a pastor. He was raised his parents ran foster homes in North Carolina. So they had a special understanding. So we might give them a case with 4 or 5 children, but normally they just already come to us, with some special training. But that's it.
Yeah.
Well, the DCS worker has 20 to 30 children.
Yes.
And everyone's having issues and everyone's disrupting and, or not everyone, but
But some of them,
consequently, they
Yeah.
have cases that are the squeaky wheels, right? So the child who is okay in foster care, who's doing well, can easily get forgotten.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yep.
Because you're constantly putting out the fires here. And this kid's just going along. I'm doing what they told me to do.
That's it.
And that's how you get cases where children are in foster care for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Because there were never any problem.
Yeah, and which would make for a great adoption.
We've had some amazing adoptions. And reunifications.
Yeah.
After we fought for the parents to get them back, you know.
And I think that's important for people to understand. It's not that you're just fighting for the kids to be taken away from the parents. It's just it's still reunification
Permanency.
still
Permanency. Safe, secure, loving permanency.
Yeah.
That even after 18, that person's got your back. You still have a bed to go home to, or a couch, or some,
something.
They got you.
Yeah.
They got you. Permanency. Best case scenario, mom and dad get their act together. Second best, family if they're healthy and safe. And lastly, an adoption.
Yeah.
To a new family who will respect that which they came from, but to terminate parental rights, it's called a TPR, that is a legal death of a parent.
Yeah.
And that's hard.
Yep. All right, and take my final break of the show. We'll be back in just a moment. You're tuned to the Power Lunch here on 101.5 The Ride. All right, we're back here on the Power Lunch. Kenneth Forte, Miss Renee Badon is with us here in the studio, and we are talking CASA as we prepare to wrap this thing up. But Champions for Children
Yes.
is coming up.
July 18th, we're going to be honoring the advocates and Miss Dana Ramsey and Miss Megan Frazier. Sponsorships are still available. You have until next Thursday.
Next, it'll be here before you know it. Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes. It's always fun having a major event
Yeah.
2 weeks after a holiday, a national holiday. But it's what we do.
Yes.
And if you know them, you love them,
Yeah.
you want to support them, let's say you're not available, we have people on vacation, you can still support CASA. You go to our website, there's places you can donate in honor of them. And we'll let them know that a donation was made in honor of them. We're just excited to give due
Flowers.
not respect, but
flowers.
flowers
Yeah.
and hugs and thank yous to these two wonderful women, as well as all of our advocates. And it's a lovely night. All excited.
Well, we encourage you to definitely
Reach out.
reach out.
Please.
And
Yes.
if you're interested in being a sponsor for the Champion for Children's, it starts at $250, $500, and $1,000. And of course, there are different things that you get with each level. Or if you just want to make a donation to CASA
Please,
on
yes.
behalf of someone, and we encourage you to do that as well and support such a worthy organization. You can go to their website, and that website address is
www.casahighlandrim.org. And on there's a donation button, and it'll take you to our PayPal. And I will say the PayPal still says CASA Dixon County, because that's how it was set up, and you can't change it.
Yeah. But of course, CASA is represented in Hickman County and Stewart County.
Absolutely, you
as
can
well.
make donations to them if you would prefer. In the for section on PayPal, or you can write a check. We accept checks, no problem there. Just write which county you would prefer it to be assigned to, so they can get that credit. And this is the beginning of our funding year. We ended our year with the state on June 30th, so we need to raise some money. so that we can pay our people and get the needed supplies and
Yep.
get these people trained, which I want to say, if you want to receive training, just give us a call. We have made it as easy as possible. We do Google Classroom. I have people being trained in the afternoons, in the mornings, in the evenings, just whatever works for their schedule. When we can get a full class, we try to do a full class, but it is really user friendly. And if
Yeah.
you would prefer to sit with a staff person and go through the training, we can do that too.
Okay.
It's just however you learn best, you know.
Yeah. Well, become a champion for children and support CASA. Again, the sponsorships are $250, $500, and $1,000, and your sponsorship is needed.
Absolutely.
So we are asking Renee, as I'm just the mouthpiece over here, for your sponsorship, and we are doing the 250 sponsorship here for the radio
Oh,
station.
thank
So
you.
I gotta have a seat.
Yeah.
So we encourage all of you to support CASA. Renee, thank you as always
Thank
for being
you.
here, and we're so glad to have her here. She comes monthly because there's so much going on with CASA, and we just, we feel a commitment to keep before our listening audience the children, and CASA is one way that we get to do that.
Thank you.
And so we appreciate all that you do and your staff
Thank you.
as you guys continue to grow. Don't forget, you can be a champion for children by becoming a sponsor. And the event is on the 18th,
The 18th.
of July, so 2 days before the Back to School Bash. So we'll tell you more about that. the
We
Back
have
to
air
School Bash.
conditioning, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, we'll have air conditioning in some buildings on Fairgrounds, okay? So that's going to do it for us. Tomorrow we'll have a replay of a previous show, and then, of course, the 4th of July. And then the day after the 4th is the 5th.
It's a Friday.
It's a Friday. All right. Well, thank you for being a part of our listening audience. Hope that you have a blessed rest of your day. We'll see you again here on the Power Lunch on 101.5 The Ride.